7. You guys ready? Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the Ferrysburg City Council meeting to order Monday, May 15th, 2023, 7 p.m., Ferrysburg City Hall. Roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Donnell.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Here.
Councilmember Sias. Councilmember Murdoch.
Here.
Councilmember Kate.
Here.
Mayor Blease.
Here.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Sias.
Support.
Motion support. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 3, invocation by Councilmember Kate, followed by a pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
Gracious God, we thank you for the blessings of this day. We ask now for your guidance and your peace on us as we go through this evening's meeting. We pray for all our citizens, that they would be productive and healthy. We ask your special blessings on Councilman Sias as he recovers from surgery. And while we thank you for all the men and women who serve us as first responders wherever we live, I ask your special blessings on those men and women of the Border Patrol who are so overwhelmed and in so much danger each and every hour that they serve. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Okay, number 5, public comments. This time on the agenda for any citizen direct brief comments or questions, City Council. Time for public comments will be given when an agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand, be recognized by the mayor. After being recognized by the mayor, please give your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Who is first? The guy right here? Lisa, did you raise your hand? No. Oh, okay. Jeez, I know. All right. Yep. Come on up. Speak right into that mic there.
There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Good evening. Mike Westbrook, 423 Lafayette, City of Grand Haven. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Recently, a group called the Charter Change Coalition, or CCC, announced plans to collect signatures to dissolve the voter-elected Board of Light and Power, or BLP, and place our electric utility under the guidance of the city manager of Grand Haven and the city council. This group is not a charter commission and has not involved the general public or the Board of Light and Power in this process. According to Field Reichart, a leader of the CCC, on April 20th at a 2023 Board of Light and Power board meeting, he said this group has quote unquote spent a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of time with attorneys helping to design this thing, end quote, bypassing any public process to change the city charter. This group has not divulged the source of the money for their activities, nor have they identified the attorneys paid to rewrite their desired charter changes related to the BLP. The BLP serves not only the city of Grand Haven, but as you know, also serves parts of the townships, Grand Haven Township, the city of Ferrysburg, Spring Lake Township, and Robinson Township. While only the voters of Grand Haven will get to decide on the future of the BLP, the surrounding communities, including this one, will share the impacts. The BLP serves 1,464 residential households in the city of Ferrysburg. In addition, we provide services to 201 commercial customers, 5 industrial customers, and 3 municipal customers within the city of Ferrysburg. Given that the BLP provides service to a significant portion of Ferrysburg, your residents and businesses may be asking you how this city charter change could impact their electrical services and their electrical costs. Hope you're ready to answer that question. The strategic priorities of the Board of Light and Power are to provide reliable, affordable, and sustainable electric services to the greater Northwest Ottawa community. Over the past 7 years, the reliability of the BLP has increased substantially, and we are now one of the most reliable public power utilities in the country, award-winning. We have improved our reliability while decreasing our rates. We're very competitive with our largest competitor, Consumers Power. Our sustainability initiatives have taken us from 9.4% renewables in 2019 to 22% in 2022, and we are planning on achieving 28% renewable energy purchases in 2025. We are reaching out to surrounding areas to let you know of this potential charter change initiative, and we will provide further information to the people and business we serve as this process moves forward. Additionally, the City of Ferrysburg and all of our electric customers in your city are invited to attend our BLP board meetings. I know they're not exciting, but you're welcome to attend. They are the third Thursday of every month, except for this month. It's been moved to May 25th, so we've got just a little bit of a week off. We welcome your voice and your discussion for the future of the BLP, your local energy service provider. Thank you.
Flat.
6 o'clock.
Any further public comments? Hearing none, moving on. 6, consideration for approval of consent agenda. A, approve the May 1, 2023 City Council meeting minutes as printed. B, adopt ordinance number 327, an ordinance to regulate miscellaneous offenses in the city.
Your Honor, I'd like to move that we approve the consent agenda. A, approve the May 1st, 2023 City Council meeting minutes as printed. And B, adopt ordinance number 327, an ordinance to regulate miscellaneous offenses in the city.
Support. Motion support. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. 7, new business. A, discussion, take action if appropriate, to approve a recommendation from the Planning Commission to amend City Code, Chapter 154 zoning, Article 9 districts and district standards to rezone from RG2 medium density residential to GC general commercial, a part of parcel number 70-03-09-300-039, commonly known as vacant land. Area to be rezoned is 4 acres more or less. Craig?
The city received an application to rezone the southern 4 acres of a parcel at the southeast corner of Van Wagner and 174th Avenue. The north 7 acres is already zoned general commercial. If you look at the packet in your draft ordinance in your packet, there's a ordinance that would rezone that property. If you look to the third of the last page of that packet, you'll see the area to be rezoned is highlighted in red. The parcel ending in 300-039. On the next page, you'll see a snapshot of the current zoning ordinance, where you see that the pink on the north 7 acres is already zoned general commercial. The parcel to the east of that is zoned residential, and the 2 remaining parcels to the east are zoned general commercial. And that's where the Trillium Banquet Hall is and the Trillium Business Center. And again, the highlighted area to be rezoned is highlighted in red. If you look at the last page of the packet, you'll see that all that property on the south of Van Wagner, except for that 4 acres, is future land use as general commercial. So Planning Commission has reviewed the application. There's a public hearing at the last meeting. The Planning Commission discussed it and made a recommendation for City Council to go ahead and rezone that to general commercial.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I watched the Planning Commission meeting, and I do not believe that the appropriate steps were followed in reviewing this application. There are procedures in place to approve this procedure, and one of those is when they go to vote on it, they need to go address each item and vote on that item by a voice vote, giving the reason why they support or deny it, and then having a yes or no for the approval of the permit. And it was a voice vote to approve it. Recently, I completed the training for the citizen planner, which was very, very intense program, and learned a lot. And this is part of what I learned in that course. We have not had in the last 7 years that I've been on council something of this nature, where we rezoned from one particular classification of zoning to another. And when you talk about zoning, you're talking about land. And there are also legal considerations that need to be taken into effect. There's U.S. Constitution, Michigan Constitution law that the amendments, one is free speech, due process, and search and seizure. So when we look at this, we don't want to take it lightly. We need to look at it, consider each individual aspect of what we have before us. The change should be consistent with the master plan. The range of use permitted changes should be consistent with the character of the area. The existing plan infrastructure includes city streets, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, sidewalks, and street lighting should be sufficiently capacity to support those provided within the proposed zoning district. Existing city facilities, services, but not limited to police, fire protection, recreation facilities, education, and waste facilities in sufficient capacity to support those to provide within the zoning classification. The proposed change should not result in economic decline of adjoining properties. And the proposed change should be governed by sufficient standards to ensure that the potential for problems and incompatibility between proposed and adjoining districts should be minimal. And last, in which I really take it hard in because of my profession, this proposed change should not endanger the public health, safety, or welfare. There was a public hearing, but I don't believe that the public was actually heard, because they addressed some very, very important issues. And those issues, I believe, should have been addressed before they voted on this issue. They could have been tabled. One was wetlands. We are there's currently a situation where someone did get a site plan approved, and there's the state came out, looked at it, and said, this is a wetlands violation. So this can open us up for legal liability. I would like to, at this point in time, because of what I heard, the public at the public hearing, I heard you, I understand, and I think these issues should be addressed. The noise, light pollution, sound, especially the wetlands, we should find out if they can even build on that property, because it is indeed, by classification, wetlands. And the company also submitted an incomplete, inaccurate site plan. So I'm going to move that we table this, send it back to the Planning Commission for further in-depth consideration of these issues.
You made a motion in support to table this? Rich, you're on the Planning Commission. Do you have anything to add before we dive into this a little further? I can hear what Tim said, so he's got concerns about that. What did or Craig did the public when they did the public hearing?
It was a public hearing. Adjacent property owners did come and voice some concern about having a general commercial next to their property. Regarding the noise, light, and wetlands, that would all be addressed when a site plan does come to city for approval. It would be reviewed by the Planning Commission and approved by the City Council.
Yes.
Craig, is there any validity to us addressing each of the variances, if that's what you want to call them as variances, point by point, versus doing it all in one blanket motion and support?
Not that I'm aware of. The consultant's report is in your packet, and he went through every step, standard that is required by them to rezone something. So I'm relying on his expertise that we follow the procedure.
So Tim, was there something in Dave Jurosic's report here that you had concerns about then, besides the wetlands and the site plan?
Yes. I did actually go through the master plan. The master plan, we have have two different plans. One is the 5-year goal. It's what our local current zoning is based upon. And then we have the master plan, which is a 20-year goal. And it's not legally binding, but it is a guideline. It is a legal document. We are required to consult it when we make changes in the zoning. And there are numerous areas in here where the proposed use of that land, I believe, because in reading the master plan, that this would be, we should not vote to approve it. The master plan is, there's introduction, public input, goals and principles. We have natural features. The natural features map does show it as wetlands. The land uses. The most desired land use in the parks is for parks and trails, creating and drinking eating and drinking establishments, entertainment, and recreational uses. Other priorities should be scenic vistas, parks, land should not be sold, motorized transportation. Other issues involve important issues, environmental health, which is 99% of the people felt this is important. Maintenance of a small town character. Goal 3, goal 1, goal 3, encourage, discourage and prevent big box, large warehouse type structures, commercial development in the city, maintaining the small town atmosphere. Preserve the amount of city nature preserves, green space. I've heard many times, not to preserve green space. Very people that are laughing are the ones that have been up here before talking about they want more green space. They love the green space. That particular site plan would eliminate almost 3 acres of green space. It would put it all under concrete. And then we come to the impacts on public health and safety and welfare. It's wetlands. If they put that warehouse in there or storage, there is no way in the current regulations that we can regulate what goes into those storage areas. They can say all you want, but you only put this in there. We can't walk in there and verify it. The zoning administrator can't go up there and say, hey, what's in your storage area? You can't go on that property and do that. So anybody can put anything in there. From a safety standpoint, right now, when I respond as a firefighter, when I respond to a house, I got a pretty good idea what's in there and what I'm up against. There's still maybe some hazards that are that we are not familiar with, such as meth labs, which pop up every place. But somebody could theoretically go in there and set up a meth lab, a grow space, and, which would be a health hazard if it did catch fire. Store hazardous chemicals on a wetlands. Yeah, there's stuff they can do to trap that. They do it, but it is, again, wetlands, environmental pollution. It does, when we look at changing the master plan, it does open up the city for legal litigation in the future for violation of constitutional rights. And that is directly from the land use guidebook that city planners use. And yes, it is not a hard and fast rule, but when you are dealing with a legal document, you have to cover all bases. And just relying on experts to come in and tell you, yes, this is fine, or no, that's fine, and if you actually read what he says in his recommendations, the general spirit of the guidance should be followed in the case where the CG zoning would not significant departure from the master plan based on this proximity to CG planned and zone lands. However, other factors must be considered. I didn't see any other factors considered other than what the public presented. And those we're saying, well, we'll address that in the future. I see that's the same as Pelosi telling the Congress, you have to vote for this measure before you find out what's in it. By then, it's too late. If we get, I want to see if they can even build it, if this is even something we should undertake. If it's wetlands, it may not be something that they can do. So before we undertake this legal undertaking, there needs to be some more due diligence on the part of the contractor and the planning commission.
Craig, do you know if, because what Tim's saying, it seems like they would have the site plan first, or it's always a recommendation to rezone, then do the site plan?
That's correct. We got an application to rezone. We haven't seen a site plan come in. Once a site plan come in, again, it's gonna be a special land use, which will come before the planning commission, and then city council will have ultimate approval. So we'll know exactly what's being proposed, where it's gonna go. It'll be up to the developer to make sure that there are no wetlands. So he'll have to have, if there is a wetlands in there, he'll have to have state permits to do anything on that property. So before the city will approve anything, we'll make sure that they have all their state, county, and other permits needed before we approve it.
Okay, so even if,
Right here. Site plan.
It's a preliminary site plan, yes. It hasn't been reviewed by city council.
Right. To approve the site plan.
No, we're not approving any site plan
Right,
tonight.
I know it, but it is an application to approve it.
This is an application for a text amendment, and then he's showing what would probably a preliminary site plan might look like.
and then my second question, Craig, is on the legal part of it, like Tim was saying, is do you think there's any legal ramifications if we go ahead and have this?
The city followed all the necessary steps to rezone this property, notifying all the property owners within 300 feet of holding a public hearing.
Okay. Will, you had something?
Just some clarifying questions for Craig, if you don't mind, Your Honor. Councilmember O'Donnell mentioned green space. Is this city-owned property, just for the clarification of the public?
Is it city-owned property? No,
Correct.
it's not.
It's not owned by the city,
No, it's not. It's private.
and it's not zoned as any type of parkland or green space
No.
currently, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I know there's some concern with wetlands. Mr. Camps is the one developing this, correct?
Correct.
Did he develop the other storage units?
Yes, he has.
And were those on any piece of wetland?
That they're aware of, no.
There wasn't any wetland space on that property?
There are some wetlands on, the Blank property, but that's all protected, restricted covenants,
Okay, but that's adjacent to his, correct?
yes.
And were there any concerns or have there been any issues with that since he built there?
The city's not aware of any, no.
Okay.
Did Mr. Camps, did you want to come up and? Your time, yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was able.
Yeah, sure, yeah, come on
Thank
up
you.
and,
Yeah, so appreciate the comments. Todd Camps, 17472 West Spring Lake Road. Yeah, so you try to touch on a number of items. The Carmen Verplank property, as you asked and Craig just mentioned, we did abut that protected wetland area. We had a wetland professional out, walk that property and staked it, and we had a small construction fence put up to make sure that none of that area was affected by the development, and it has not been. Actually, the water flow through there has been improved since our development. The parcel in question's approximately plus or minus 4 acres. I think it's insinuated, or at least I feel it's been insinuated, that it's all wetlands. It is not all wetlands. The majority of it is upland. The creek runs, or ditch, I don't know if it's technically called a creek, runs on the north portion of the property. We absolutely, as I said to the neighbors, they were the one that expressed concerns. I spent a half hour with them after the meeting a couple weeks ago. We're not planning to build a building in the creek. We're not planning to build a building in a pond. We will have our wetland company walk the property. They'll flag and allow or tell us what is buildable and what is not buildable. We have no intention, if they come back and say there's a half of acre, which I'm expecting along the creek as wetlands, to impact that. Regarding light pollution, noise pollution, these will be commercial storage, or again, it's kind of hard to say what they ultimately end up being, but we have a couple businesses that have been in our other buildings. A lot of these, some of the folks that have already shown interest in them, are looking for a place to store their boat or their motorhome, their cars, motorcycles. These will be over $250,000 a piece. We're not envisioning someone coming in and being loud and having parties. These are, one gentleman that's expressed interest. They have a $2-3 million home on Lake Michigan. They have their home in Grand Rapids, and they want a place for their, toys. They're going to respect the neighborhood. We, plan to do a nice job with the construction. We've worked with the city from the site plan development. We've taken the input with Craig and the folks in landscaping, and we would do the same thing again. That is a preliminary site plan. When I spoke with Craig, we wanted to be able to show the Planning Commission approximately what we had hoped to do there. We still assuming that the layout, and West Shore Engineering, who designed the other, Channel Side 1, 2, and Carmen, is who did that preliminary site plan. They walked the property, so they have a good understanding of where the wetland is or isn't, and what they had proposed, they feel we'd be very close to being able to do that. An 8 or 9 unit building to the south. The back of the building would face the residence. One of the recommendations was to increase the 7-foot side yard setback to 25 feet. I was comfortable with that. So there'll be a 25-foot setback. There won't be any lights on the back of the building. There won't be any doors on the back of the building. So my comments to the neighbors when we left is, if you left it alone and we did apartments there, that's going to have a way greater impact on them from noise, light, party, garbage. You know, our clientele, we've got 29 now of the last 5 years. I've not, unless you can correct me, Craig, we've never had a noise complaint. We've had no theft. We've had no complaints of garbage. It's been very positive. So, absolutely, we'll look at the wetlands. If there's not if, there's wetlands, there's a creek, so there's going to be a section of wetland, but we're estimating that at about a half of an acre, leaving 3 to 3.5 acres of upland that's developable. If you want green space and parks and you don't want development, then I think you're gonna have a conversation with the owner, and there's probably a greater chance of a lawsuit denying them of selling their property than having someone develop their property. The property to the north is the general commercial. We're just expanding that to include this piece, and we are in conversations with the same landowner that owns the north to be able to continue our development, but he wanted to get us through this phase first. So happy to answer any other questions. Thank you for your concerns.
How can you guarantee that what is stored in those buildings? How can we know what's being stored in those?
How can you guarantee, or how would I guarantee what's how do I guarantee? How do I guarantee what's stored? Hoping that churches and programs around town, but I hope only not of last 2 minutes left in, but how can I guarantee I don't know what you're storing in your garage. You don't know what's storing, what I'm storing in my garage. Hopefully it's illegal. I hope it's in your garage. I don't know how, I don't know, I can't answer because I can tell you what the other 29 owners out now have. I've not are
Such as with church and homes, you do have some idea what people is gonna be stored in there. And okay, right. It's not like when we have overlappings, we know what is in each of those businesses there, and get an idea because of the type of business, what is there. But you're looking at 9 units plus condo units, where there is no regulation on what's going in there. With the Leppings, they had to come in and get a use permit to change it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Your Honor,
Yes.
seems like we've got the cart before the horse here. We don't have an open motion on the table, but we're having lots of discussion. So I'd like to move for approval of
Okay.
this recommendation as written.
Support.
Okay, motion support. More further discussion?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Sometime in my tenure here, which hasn't been very long, but I recall a similar discussion when the approval was coming through for, I don't know if this was yours, Mr. Camps, the units where there's going to be living space above. We had this very same discussion about what was inside of them, and the fire chief signed off on it. So I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
It was kind of that work well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
knowing that we have housing challenges
sure.
and, ability for someone, a small business down below, the apartment, home up above, on that seasonal, that RVs, has an order code. That's what same side, partly to cover, living space.
Yeah.
Thought that would be, a neat concept, trying to, offer something.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Camps. Lisa, you got something?
Own a house, I used to own a house in Grand Haven in a neighborhood. They just built they're big. Would I want to live there? Yeah, really. But, they're going for a pretty penny, and I think most of the people in there are gonna be insured. They're not gonna be doing any hanky-panky stuff. and the car wash cause them problems. I can barely see their house when you're driving by. I think the house is directly across the street from the car wash, and that might bother people. Them, I couldn't see light pollution from those entities. Saying at midnight. There was nobody partying in the laundromat, and there was nobody partying at the.
Okay. Further discussion? Oh, Tim? Okay.
That issue with the condos over on Second, along that area over there, that pertained strictly to the type of buildings and the use of that property that was already zoned. We're talking about rezoning or changing the zoning of the property from residential to commercial. And that is a is everything that you when you talk about that, that is much more important, a lot more involved. I'm just putting it out there. I'm sure, hopefully, 50 years ago when they built the addition on the fire barn that caused this problem 50 years later, that in 50 years we don't come up with some legal problems because of it.
Okay. Rich, you had something?
I was just gonna say that, with planning commission, we did go over the, wetlands, noise and light pollution, and that would be addressed in the site plan review.
Okay.
Wetlands is determined by Eagle, not by our master plan. And, we also felt it was a great fit, with our recent, Economic Development, Commission task force, to develop that commercial property coming down towards Leppings. And so it was a natural fit to zone this when it's adjoining commercial already. It's not a spot zoning issue. It's just continuing on with commercial down the main thoroughfare. So we didn't have any problems with it.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Hey.
Motion carried. 7B, discussion, take action if appropriate, approve a recommendation from the Planning Commission to City Council to amend City Code Chapter 154 zoning to amend Section 2.20 to include the definitions of personal and commercial storage suites and self-storage facility, to amend Section 4.80 to include special land use, specific standards for personal and commercial storage suites and self-storage facilities, to amend Section 9.110 to allow accessory dwelling units, personal and commercial storage suites and self-storage facilities, special land uses in the GC General Commercial Zoning District, and to amend Section 9.120 to allow self-storage facilities and personal and commercial storage suites as special land uses in the light industrial LI1 zoning district.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move for approval.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
Hey.
Motion carried. C, discussion, take action if appropriate, approve a recommendation from the Planning Commission, to approve, too many approves, to approve a special land use and for site plan approval for a church on parcel number 70-03-09-300-7-59, commonly known as 17685 174th Avenue, Leppix Food Centers. Greg?
We received an application to have a church in one of the suites at Leppix Plaza. A church is a special land use in the general commercial, so that required a public hearing and notice to all the property owners within 300 feet. That was done. The Planning Commission held public hearing on it and recommend that the special land use be approved by city council. On your table tonight was something from the fire chief. In your packet was a review by the building inspector and the public works department, and they have no issues with it and recommend approval. On your table tonight is the fire chief, his recommendation to approve as well. He has no issues as long as certain items are done. The occupancy loads and exits are clear and fire extinguishers are available.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to move to approve the recommendation from the planning commission to approve the special land use and site plan approval for a church on parcel number 70-03-09-300-059, commonly known as 17685 174th Avenue, Leppings Food Center.
Support.
Motion support. Further discussion?
Just a question, Your Honor.
Yes.
The parking plan, right now with the old True Value space empty, I don't see a problem. But if Leppings is ever successful in getting another tenant into that space, that's about an 8,500 square foot space where True Value used to be. This parking plan would become a problem. So I hope there's adjustments that can be made if and when that space is taken up. It's on
Okay.
page E1.
E1. And the proposal that suite is the old Curves
Right.
Fitness Center suite? Okay.
Which is 2 doors down from the old True Value,
Okay.
right next to Joseph's Hair Studio. I only see in front of the old True Value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots that are marked no parking for the church. And while they're empty, I don't care. But I just wonder what will happen if a business gets in there that conflicts with your hours.
Yeah, it looks like it says.
Huh?
Sure, come on up to the podium.
I'm Dan Turner. I am the pastor of Flow Church. We're a church that does not grow anything. Anything nefarious, I pray. So, in our lease with LCL Development, they actually have, and I gave this to actually segregated, I believe, I lease available to me. So I don't know if that sheds light on what will happen. Like hardware or another hardware store. We did actually use this somewhat because I'm less than 31. I think the reality is we look possibly if so well. I will say, I have 40.
And Dan, can you state your address for the record, please?
My address at home is 13736.
Okay. Anybody have questions for Dan? Okay. Thanks for your time. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. 7D, public hearing, proposed 2023-2024 city budget. I'll open the public hearing at 7:50 PM. Any public comment on the city budget? No comment? Lisa, you had something over there? Oh. Here's a copy right here if you want it.
Thanks.
If you quick review it, $6 million. 6.3. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 7:51. Moving on. E, discussion, take action if appropriate to adopt a resolution regarding public employer contributions to medical benefit plans. Craig?
This is in regard to the Public Act 152, which requires certain things for the employer to do. During a work session with City Council, we discussed this, and City Council indicated they'd be willing to exempt the city from the hard cap or the 20% requirement of health insurance premium paid by the employee. So the employees pay right now 15%, and we would continue at that of the premium.
Okay, 15% is their contribution, the city pays 85%?
Correct.
Okay,
Your Honor,
yes,
I'd like to move that we adopt the resolution regarding the public employer contributions to the medical benefits plan.
motion, support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. 7F, consideration approval resolution to authorize the city's 2023 summer tax levy at 10.594 mils. Craig?
Resolution for the 10.5943 mils is the same levy of millage that was levied in 2022. So there's no increase or no decrease. It's the same.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to authorize the city's 2023 summer tax levy at 10.5943 mils.
Support.
Motion, support?
Lots of support.
We'll put it Deb down for that one.
That's fine.
Any further discussion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. 7G, discussion, take action if appropriate, adopt a resolution adopting sewer and water rates and charges. So Craig, it looks like overall it's gonna be customer savings of 72 cents per quarter decrease.
That'd be correct for a water sewer customer. For
Okay.
For a water only customer, there'd be a slight increase.
Okay,
Because we're raising the water rates a penny per cubic meter, and we're lowering some of the sewer charges to keep it the same kind of cost as the previous year.
okay. So it looks like there's a 54 cents per quarter increase from water only then. And then a little bit of savings in the water sewer combined. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution adopting the sewer and water rates and charges.
Okay.
Support.
Motion, support, further discussion?
One question, please.
Yes.
I'm a little confused as how you can have water but not sewer.
Anything west of the mobile home park does not have sanitary sewer.
Okay.
They're all on septic.
Okay. Further
Water in,
discussion?
water out. Yeah.
Your Honor,
Yes.
Craig, how are the balances sitting in our funds in the sewer and water?
Sewer's fund is sitting, it has a healthy health balance on it. That's why we can reduce it.
Increasing?
Yes.
Okay.
And the water fund, we spent some monies doing a couple water mains a few years back, so we're starting to build that back up a little bit.
Okay.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. 7H, approve a resolution adopting the 2023-2024 city budget, $6,328,822, and appropriating funds for said purposes.
Your Honor,
Yes.
because I would be a potential beneficiary of increase in pay for the, as a firefighter EMT with City of Ferrysburg, I'd like to abstain from voting. Time.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution adopting the 23-24 city budget of $6,328,822.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. I, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve, not approve a proposal from CM Contractors for $66,503 for the Mary Avenue Street Drain Outlet Dredging Project. Craig?
So earlier this year, we went out for bids and we received one bid which came in late. And so City Council rejected those bids and instructed staff to go out to rebid the project. We did that with bids due on May 9th. And again, we only received one bid, which was on time. We did talk to the contractor. He has a good handle on what needs to be done out there. He does have some concerns with how the water is going to drain and dry and moving it, so he anticipates it's going to be a 2-week project. We contacted a couple contractors to determine why they did not bid on the project. One contractor indicated that he did not get the bid. He does a lot of barge work in Spring Lake, and he gets a barge permit from the city every year. And we mailed it to the address we had on file. And talking to him, he indicated that his mailing address got changed, and that's why he did not receive the bid and did not bid on the project. The person that bid it submitted a bid in February or March. We contacted him, asked him why he did not bid. He indicated that he thought he did. He had it all filled out, but his office did not send it in. And that's the bid on your desk tonight. It was dated, he dated May 3rd, but it never got sent to the city.
Bummer. And then that CM Contractors, it looks like, so if it only takes the first week, it's 38,000, but if it's 2 weeks, it'll add another 27,000 to the project.
That's correct, and he's anticipating it being a 2-week project.
So it could be, so a total of like 66,000.
It would be
503.
Yes.
Okay, well, we don't have a lot of options here. We probably want to get it done. Anybody want to make a motion?
Your Honor, I'll move to approve.
Okay.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve the appointment of blank as an alternate to Police Commission for period ending June 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2023. The reason we put that on there is Mr. Kate serves on the Police Commission. He's going to be gone on vacation month of June, so we wanted to see if someone else would want to step up and attend the Police Commission meeting. It's scheduled for Monday, June 5th.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Here, isn't it?
It would be at the fire
No, it's the
station.
fire station this time.
Spring Lake Township Fire Station, yeah. Anybody want to volunteer? Rich, you want to volunteer? Okay. All right. June 5th.
5th, 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Station 1.
4 p.m. 4 p.m. Yep. Okay, we need a motion support.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Councilman Carlson as an alternate to the Police Commission for the period of June 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2023.
Support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. K, discussion, take action if appropriate to schedule work session as a regular agenda item, June 5th, 2023. Craig, so what do we got on there so far? City council goals?
Director review of city council goals.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add?
I got a couple things, Your Honor.
Okay.
So I'd like to discuss what it would look like for us to take a proposal to the BLP, and maybe we invite them here for that work session to have a Ferrysburg representative of some sort involved with the BLP, so that our ratepayers here have some recognition on that board.
Good idea.
I'd like to also have a rate case, or I'm sorry, have a work session to discuss the email that Councilman O'Donnell sent to us last week on the checks and balances within our city that dictate what a official city event is, what approval process those city events need to go through, and who is able to dictate what a city event is considered.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'd also ask that prior to that work session, Craig reaches out to our insurance company and our legal advisors to get their opinions as well on any liability we have if individual elected members develop city events and what they would consider a city event for liability purposes.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add for work session? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the to schedule the work session for June 5th, 2023?
So moved.
Okay, motion, any support? Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. 8, public comments. Lisa.
Just a quick note on the Board of Light and Power. I have no properties granting so like Ferrysburg. I'm not sure if I'm assuming it was the same for Ferrysburg as Grand Haven, but they have a very high rate for people that for the deposits. Over $400. I've been a landlord. That's a big chunk of money for people that live there. City of Grand Haven and the Board of Light and Power put it on your tax. Different than gas utility. You've gotten burned a couple, know that the $1,000 over 15 year, when we sold the house is when it happened. When we sold the house, we didn't even realize the liens were even on. No notification. So I think that would be nice to bring up, see if there's some kind of program that can work on. I don't charge anything, but Grand Haven, it's either 400 or more. So, you know, that's a big thing, and I think that a different land. I own a house, but I didn't.
Thanks. Any more public comments? Hearing none, moving on.
I was just gonna reiterate what Lisa just said about the rental issue. We as a society always look to how can we get people into affordable housing, and it seems like the BLP with their deposits, if you're the homeowner, it's no problem, piece of cake. They just start sending you bills. But if you're a renter, that's just a huge hurdle for some of these people to jump through, to the point where they can't even move into an apartment because they can't get the power turned on. So I think it's a great idea, Lisa. Big one.
Okay, number 9, report, city manager.
No report.
City council members, Bill?
Police Commission last meeting, we are discussing ways of cooperating with the township, the city of Ferrysburg, and the village of Spring Lake to provide better police coverage for the whole area. And I think that's going to be a prime subject of the next meeting. Other than that, on a personal level, I need to ask for excusal for the next 2 city council meetings because I'll be out west, way out west.
Okay, have fun. Will?
No report.
Okay, Rich?
No report.
Debbie?
Education Commission met, and we are still working on the picnic for the 4th of July, and I think we're doing pretty well. We've got things pretty well lined up. And I also brought up the idea of beautification area around the plaque that's by Smith's Bridge. So we're going to meet and come up with a plan to spend money that we got for the
Where did you say that was? I'm sorry.
It's going to be by the Smith's
Okay,
plaque by
thank you.
the bridge. So yeah, we're gonna take care of that. Spend that grant money, and make it beautiful. And to report.
Okay. Tim?
I had the opportunity to attend Commander Smith's funeral. Represented the city. Got to talk with a couple of family members. They were very appreciative that somebody from the city of Ferrysburg showed up and represented our thanks and appreciation for his service to this area and to our nation. I recently completed both the Zoning Board of Appeals certification and citizen planner, and I'm also working on my master citizen planner's certification. And lastly, the irresponsible comment that I would be involved in any type of creating any toxic waste anywhere in the city or anybody that I associated with is totally irresponsible comment. And I would never, ever do that. End of report.
Okay. MPO Policy Committee meeting is gonna meet this Wednesday, May 17th. I'll give you an update on that. And then preliminary cops and cones, we're gonna try to have that Saturday, June 10th from 1 to 3 p.m. I still have to confirm everything with Alamode still. And a report. Motion adjourned. One to three.
Second.